Hello, friends. I'm back on History with Umehani. And remember, lastly, we had done the history based on early and later Vedic age. We had seen how we got the sources through which we can study about it. This time, we will see the administration and the social aspect of early as well as the later Vedic age. Let's go on the presentation that will explain you in a much better way. You can see a picture of early Vedic age and the later Vedic age, where you can see the date has been mentioned to be very much precise. It's from 1500 BCE to 600 BCE. Okay, this is just for your reference. As now, let's go. As I told you, we will talk about two points of this ages. One is administrative, and the second is the social aspect. Now, when we talk about the administration of early, yes, for each point we will discuss the later as well as the early Vedic age difference. All right. Now, in administration, the points are divided into three factions. One is state division, how the state was formed, how it was conducted. Second important authority was of the king and his subordinates, what they were doing it. And another important aspect in that time was assemblies. There were three assemblies. Now we will discuss even on that. Now first we will go on the state division. When we talk about state division, as you all know right now, we are considered as in India. India is our state, okay? Similarly, at that time, what was there? We don't know, right? There was nothing like India as such. But what, through the sources, we came to know that they had villages. And this village, one particular village was known as Grama. When then a bunch of villages comes, it was known as Visha. And when the bunch of those Vishas comes, like how we have districts, right? That comes, and that was known as Jana. Jana, Visha, and Grama. The caretaker of Grama or the village was Gramini. Of Visha was Vishapati. And of Jana was directly in the hand of the king. Or in that time, he was known as Rajan. Now, let's come on the second point of administration, that is the king. Who was king? King was a person who was elected among all the peoples who were living in the entire Jana. Okay, so he was an elected person. Now, this is in early Vedic age. He had many ministers to help him. So, who were them? One was Purohita, he was a religious head. Then Senani, the army commander. Gramini, as we said, that every village had an administrator who was known as Gramini. Okay, so taking care of the village was his work. Besides this, the third faction we talk about is three assemblies. Now, in these three assemblies, first, let us go on the name of these assemblies. First was Sabha, Samiti, and Vidata. Now, what was done in Sabha? It was moreover, if you talk about today's time, it is moreover like a judiciary. Elderly peoples of the village or of the Jana, of the state, were members of it, and they were giving an advice and they were doing the justice for the people. Samiti. Samit was a people's council, okay, and this was done on several occasions only. If some issue is there, like there's a famine in the state or in several villages, so this Samiti was called, and how to decide on the further policies to improve the condition of the people, or to improve the farming, or to what to do about taxation. So for such thing, a people council used to be called out, but that was also occasionally. The third was Vidata. This was very important. Now, with all the members in this Vidata, They were discussing about economic, military, religious, social matters. Any damn thing was discussed in it. Okay, and this all the members were always helping king in doing his work. Now, one important thing I want to tell you all, that in this early Vedic age, many women were a part of this sabhas. Okay, like how even in today's world, the many politicians like Susma Swaraj and you all see is there in the politics, females, but this thing was not there in the later Vedic age. The women were no longer a part of any assemblies. Secondly, the king who was he was elected by the state, by the Jana. Now it became hereditary. That means his son can become a king, and then his son, then his son, and then his son, and so on. So this was the three aspects of administration. Now let's move on the social aspects of early and later Vedic age. I have just put a short form of EVA, that's early Vedic age, and LVA is a later Vedic age. Don't get confused in this. Now here we need to jot down in 3 points again. That's status of women, class division, and 4 ashramas. All right. Now why we are talking only about this? Because the sources which we have found has mentioned these 3 things in detail. Now in the early Vedic age, let's see the status of woman. It was very good. The widow could remarry. There was no child marriage. The age of marriage was 16, 17, not a 6 years or 7 years. There was a freedom to choose husband, whichever they, and the Swayamvar systems was there and all that. They had a right in the properties, in the politics, as you know, they were even a participant of the assemblies. So they had rights in politics, they had rights in their properties of their parents. Then, but this scenario changed in the later Vedic age. Later Vedic age completely curtailed all these freedoms. All. So this was the major change for the women. That is the reason it is discussed. Second point of the social life we go on is the class division. Now in this class division, if you read the Rig Vedas of the early time, there was a mentions of Aryans and the Dasyus. Dasyus were the people who were residing in India before the Aryans came. Okay, if we see the history, the Aryans had come from Afghanistan. Generally, people comment that the medieval, when we talk about the medieval history of India, that the Mughals and Turks, and they all came from Afghanistan and Turkey, they are not Indians. But if you see Aryans, where are they? They are also from Afghanistan. And we say we are rich culture of Aryans. Anyways, let's not talk on that issue right now. Our main concern is of how the division was seen in the class in the later Vedic age. When we read the sources of Rig Veda of the later ages, there you can see the 4 varnas or the 4 class division in a very clear way, that the society was divided into 4. Like first was Brahmin, all priestly class was considered as Brahmin. Second was the Kshatriyas, all the warriors, even the king was considered as Kshatriya. Then Vaishyas, all other professionals like traders, merchants, artisans, many other. So the farmers are also there. They all were Vaishyas. Then comes Shudras. Now the Shudras are the one who were doing a very menial jobs. Like the slaves, the maids, servants, sweepers, butcher, barbers, they all were considered into this class, and this class was not treated well. Initially, it wasn't that much. In early Vedic age, the division was based on profession. But in later Vedic age, it became so rigid that the Shudras was considered as nothing. That's how it was badly treated, which was bad. Now, this is how the society was divided. women's were considered something different. Then even if the society of men's, you say, that was also divided into the class of divisions. Now, every individual, how he had to live, whether the person of Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, how he should live is into, it was known as ashramas. Now, these are the 4 ashramas, or the 4 ways how you need to lead your life, how you need to live your life. Okay. So the first one was brahmacharya. Brahmacharya means in the early age of your life, that means right from your birth till you become around 20 to 25 years, you should study. That is complete based on study, learning, anything, of profession or whatever. So it should be like, you should not get married in that time. So that is a learning time. Then grahastha, where you need to marry, you need to have a family. So take care of your family, have children. So that is right from 25 years to 50 years. Then from 50 years, once your kids must grow in the time of 25 years. So you give up everything and go in the forest and start living life in the forest with a simplicity. So that was a time called vanaprastha. Vana means go in the forest. Then comes sannyasa. Sannyasa also, it's like you are still living in the forest, but now your aim should be to achieve salvation, to achieve moksha, to achieve, you can say, that world where you can get a peace. So that was the 4th ashrama. All right. And that has to be there till you die. So from your birth to 25 brahmacharya, 25 to 50 grahastha, from 50 to 75 vanaprastha, and from 75 till you die. All right. So this is how it's divided. Now the other things like about the education and all that aspects of early and later Vedic age, I will discuss in another class, in another video of mine, because it will become too big and it will be boring for you all. So anyways, I hope you liked my video. So please, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you.